Can you see me? Just about. Okay, so now I've just been fettling with a few bits, just sort of taking bits off here and there. It's at the end of the day and I haven't actually been working on this for a couple of days, but the valve spring compressor tool just arrived, so I want to give it a go. I can't wait. So I've got the camera and we're going to take these off now. The sooner I get this done, really, because I want to get it back together so I can focus on the bodywork, which has just actually arrived today. So let's figure this out. Alright then guys, so luckily we've had a few bits delivered now, which means we can crack on with the engine. I was waiting for a few bits, so basically some brake cleaner with the applicator, just for a few things really. Once we've put the parts in the cleaner, I wanted to be able to degrease them before painting, so we've got that. I also got some 3-in-1 oil to fill up my oil squirter, ready for reassembly, and also a couple of extra bits. So we've got this lovely straight edge, which I actually struggled to find on Amazon, but I did find a company, a Japanese or a Chinese company. They do all sorts of different sizes, and this is a lovely straight edge. I've tested it on a nice thick piece of glass, and I managed to get right down to I think 0.4 thou, which is the smallest my feeler gauge set would go to, and that's definitely within the tolerances that I need to check the head to make sure that we haven't got any warp in the head. I think it was only about £17, but I'll put that, I'll put the link in the description, and also we can tot up our running totals as well. I also bought a wire brush set for the drill, so I can just get in some of those nooks and crannies of the cylinder head. We can also clean up the valves and then start thinking about putting that all back together. I've had that soaking in the wash bath now for, well, over a week. Some of the carbon build-up on that was really horrible. So this kit, it was just a cheap kit, and there's a mixture. There's 3 different types. So there's a steel, brass and nylon brushes in a few different sizes. I think there's 5 different sizes of each one. There's also like a screwdriver attachment and an extension. So if you want, you can do it by hand, but I'm going to fit mine to the drill. So yeah, I'm going to get this unpacked and then we can start finishing off that engine, that cylinder head. So I've got my my little area outside here set up. I've got my parts cleaner here, which is just a small one, not big enough to put the cylinder head of the engine in, but it is great for cleaning all the small parts. I've ran out of single-use gloves, so I've got the marigolds. Okay, well I was hoping to get those off intact because I haven't ordered new ones. That one's come out fine. This one, the thread's already stripped, so I'm just going to go and take it out and have to order some new ones. Okay, so we've got our cylinder head here. Now, I don't think it's warped. There was no problems with the engine. When we got the car, it was a runner. It ran really well. This isn't the original engine for the car. I believe it was a 1 litre was the original. This is a 1.1, so it's an 1100. So I'm not too worried about it. I've got the, we're going to tidy it up because we've got some sort of gacky build up on here. So we're going to do a DIY, not a head skim, but a head clean. So I'm going to use oil stone, just a normal sharpening oil stone, just to take this off. We'll see where the high and low spots are, and then we can test it, make sure it's within the tolerances. Yeah, really lovely cylinder head. There's a little bit of corrosion where the water runs through the engine. In the past, when people haven't used the proper antifreeze and they've just thrown water in there, it's really corroded, so hence why we're trying to clean out some of these. Now, I don't have my compressor with me, so I do plan on using our die grinder with some of these carbon cutters, grinders, and we're going to give this a nice clean up. We're going to go in all the ports, all the valves. It's not going to be a full reboring video. It's not going to be a full rebuild. We're just cleaning up where we've got dirt and muck. I'm not going to be going in and polishing these to a mirror finish. It's just, you know, for what we're using the vehicle for, we don't need it. So let's start cleaning up this. We'll start cleaning up this face now, and we'll see where we are with it. Okay, so you're not going to be able to see this on here. But we've got some of this crappy build up here, especially at this end. I didn't want to spend loads of money on to see if it was okay the whole way across. You get a pretty good idea. And the high spots are just where the gunk is. So I think if we start grinding this off, we'll see how we go. So basically I've got a couple of different types of stone. I've got an oil stone which has got two grades either side, and that's quite fine. I've also got this sort of cheaper multi-purpose which I just use in my workshop. Now what I'm thinking is I'm just going to use the coarser grits on here just to get some of this thick crap off first, and then we'll see where we are. Okay, so that's all cleaned up now. I checked the oil stone, and my oil stone was actually not flat at all. So I just used this cheap one. Like I said, I'm just tidying up. I'm not taking anything off really, apart from dirt and the sort of the crappy carbony build-ups which get on there. So the two areas you can still see there's black marks here, but I've cleaned that up. I might clean it up a little bit more, but not much at all. I've gone over with the straight edge and I've checked this down to 0.04 millimeters, so 4 thou. This only has to be, the tolerances for the gasket on the head I think is between 5 and 12 thou. So we're well in. I've done it under, we're well in. There's no rock in any of it. Across the seats here, this is where you often get failure in the gaskets, especially these two outer ones because the gap is smaller. And I can't see any, I can't get this in there. And then going across, I'm not getting any points where this might fail. So I'm really happy with that. Obviously time will tell, you know, once we get the engine up and running. time will tell, won't it? But before I could see light coming through between the block and the straight edge. Now I can't. So wherever I'm measuring with the feeler gauge, I can't see any daylight. I'm happy with that. I'm really happy with that. So I'm just going to go around. I'm going to clean this up a bit more, both sides. The other side you don't need to do, but I am going to clean it up a bit. Let's get cracking. Okay, so we've got the block flipped over now. This doesn't need flattening because the gasket, the cork gasket, which is down there, it's not critical. But if you think back to, I believe it was video episode 2, where I took the thermostat housing off, and that had seized on there and I had a bit of trouble, so we had to knock it off with a screwdriver. So this is a bit damaged around the edge here, a little bit damaged up here, and it doesn't take much just to run over it and just clean this up. So that's what I'm going to do.